All right.
Now we're live.
Now we are live.
All right. Leo team, you'll just have to cut out the first minute or two of the recording.
Yeah.
We are live on January 31st as we come to a close of the first month of 2023. And Cal is still not wearing any LeoFinance swag.
Yeah.
Vote for the
You
cat.
know,
He rocks
I
swag.
always am. Yeah. The cat always has swag. I've talked about it a few times, but I need to get more swag. Like I need more quantity. I only have like two or three things. So, if I wear them, obviously they're dirty and then I don't have them. So got to get
Hoodies
some
never
more.
get dirty.
True. So yeah, I'm gonna get some more, and then I want to get some other swag too, like different color shirts and stuff. So it's not just always like the same black, you know, black with the logo. Like I feel like there's some other cool stuff we could do.
Just order up a hoodie in 4 different colors and you're good.
Yep. And
In
then
fact, I think I still have that website where you can just get like
oh
this
really?
t-shirts. I'll tell you what, honestly, I might order t-shirts with even just like nothing on them because I don't know what t-shirts this company uses, but I love them. Like they fit
Really?
good. Like they actually like in my arms, like it's not like all loose and shit, but at the same time the shirt fits me. Because usually if I get a shirt that fits me in the arms, it's like too short. Um,
Yeah.
this is like this t-shirt is money. Like I don't even it was what was it through Bonfire, I think it is. But I created like a LeoFinance profile on there. So like I can basically buy stuff with the LeoFinance logos.
Yeah, I may try that out. I want to order. I think I said this on the last day I made, but I want to order like a huge box of merch. Just put it in
Yeah.
my trunk because I'm always like going around talking to people about Leo and stuff, um and I wish I could just have some merch that I could hand out. I want to put a QR code on them too.
Oh yeah, definitely get
So,
the QR code.
yeah, gotta come up with something to put somewhere like join, create, earn, maybe in like the bottom corner of the shirt or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can do the QR code and then under that put something like that.
Yeah,
Create and earn, or you know, um, own your content. You know,
join,
want to
create,
do.
get teased. That's a good one. I like that
There
one.
you go.
Could definitely bring the only Leo fans in.
Join, create, get teased. Actually, that'll just work because people like what be like, what the fuck?
What does that mean?
What's that mean? No one knows what it means, but it gets the people
It's
going.
provocative.
It's provocative. That's even better. There you go. We should do one of those. Leo
Yeah.
Finance. And then what's that mean? Uh, no one knows what it means, but it's provocative. And then QR code.
They don't know what it means, but they know what it memes. I like that.
There you go. But they know what it
I like
means.
that. That's a
I
good
like,
one.
yeah, that's fun. Underneath Leo Finance, just put it's provocative with a QR code.
Yeah, I
Gets
mean,
the gets the people
people would
going.
scan it.
Oh yeah.
People would scan it.
I might I want that shirt now. I think I'm gonna have one that just says Leo Finance, has a QR code, and underneath it, it just says it gets the people going. Because people
It's
are gonna
true.
want to know what gets the people going. I'm not in on this. I got to see what it
Yeah,
is. Got to create the
yeah.
FOMO,
They got to feel left out.
right? I will do this after the new UI
I like that.
because then people
Um,
will go to it and be like, "What? It's Twitter." But wait, hold on. What are these little money? It says it's showing money. What is going on?
money.
How do
Yeah,
I get money from my hearts?
free money. Free money.
Hearts and likes equals crypto. That's
Free
actually
money.
there's another tagline. Hearts and likes equals crypto, or crypto, equals crypto earnings. That actual one. Yeah, I like that one too. I got so many t-shirts now I want.
Yeah, I gotta step up my swag game. So speaking of the new UI, we we are getting closer and closer to launch. Um, and a lot of what we're doing right now is some of us are testing some of the features, making sure they're ready before we start letting everyone use it. Just kind of getting like those big bugs out of the way. Surprisingly, though, there's actually been very few bugs on the new UI. This is just because, obviously we built UIs before, and we're taking like this from scratch, slow development, but really quality. We're going for slow and quality rather than, fast and shitty. So, we've been building out kind of like these super strong like bricks in the foundation of this UI. So things are super fast. They're, a surprisingly large lack of bugs, which is nice, makes the development faster. And the UI just it looks amazing and it feels amazing when you're using it. So what we're working on right now, and we actually just pushed it for people to test, obviously in closed alpha, is the long form content part of the UI. So up until now, we've only had the threads part of the UI done, and then we had a little bit of long form, like there were some feeds and stuff that we were playing around with, but we just added like the full set of long form, which is like the feeds and the actual like post view. So I've shared some teasers of it, obviously, as I always like to do. But it's actually really cool, and it really changes it changes the look of LeoFinance a lot. Like it looks nothing like the current UI. So here's a little teaser. And something that's really cool is when you hover over a username, it will actually update that right-hand side with their author profile, which I think is kind of cool. And it wasn't actually intentional, but it was something that just kind of happened, basically.
That's cool.
So here, let me get you an example. So like I'm hovering over, you can kind of see it in this screenshot. I'm still on that same Taskmaster post that I just shared a screenshot of, but now I'm hovering over free compliments account. And then as soon as and it's super fast too when it does it. As soon as you hover over another account, it loads their account on the right-hand side. So it shows you, their latest 5 posts, their most recent 5 posts. It shows you like their description of their account, how many followers they have, and then you can follow them or mute them right there on the UI. So it was kind of like this unintended effect of building out the new post UI, but it looks really cool and it's pretty functional. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. The whole long form UI too is just really smooth. It's kind of, one thing I really like about the new UI is having like this like centered view with like the menus on the side is really user friendly. It's like it makes switching between content and pages like a lot easier, which I think is extremely important because we're having short form and long form obviously mixed in on this UI. So having those things mixed in means that you need to have a really good user experience to flip flop from long form and short form. So new UI does that really well. And then obviously, notifications makes that super easy when you're engaging with people. So that's kind of where we're at. We're doing a lot of stuff with the long form content. I'd say the last thing that we're going to do before we go from closed alpha to open alpha is going to be the updating the explore page. So, right now we've got kind of like a bare bones explore page. I'll share what it looks like. So this is just kind of like a placeholder explore page. And we've got the design is being implemented right now. So I'm hopeful that we'll have that ready by, hopefully by the end of this week, but we'll have to see. And then obviously we'll have to do a little bit of testing as well. But, once we have the explore page, I think rolled out, I think that's the time when we're going to do closed alpha. That was always the original plan. It just took a lot longer than expected. Here's dark mode for you, addicted. So yeah, so getting from closed alpha to open alpha is going to be a big moment. I think once people start using the UI and seeing exactly how it works and all that stuff, they're going to be excited. But just kind of like my disclaimer for closed alpha is that we've built all the core features, right? And we're building, core feature by core feature. We're just knocking down. We've got a huge, checklist of things that we're doing. And we're basically just knocking off items on that checklist. And the things that are on that checklist are ranked in order of like core feature set. So obviously we did like the whole threads UI was first, right? And that entailed doing a lot of different things, like not just the actual threads UI themselves, but actually adding like upvoting and replying and image uploading and stuff like that. So adding all those things in like a checklist format was key. So the threads UI is pretty much fully complete at this point. There's like a few smaller items that we've kind of like shoved down the checklist a little bit to give priority to some other stuff so we can get to closed alpha faster. So stuff like nested replies probably aren't going to be in closed alpha right away, but they'll be obviously added as we kind of progress through closed alpha and people get to test everything. But like those main core features, like your profile page, your notifications page, the home page for threads, tags for threads, uploading images to threads, replying to threads, comments on the long form side, long form posts themselves, which is what we just added this week. Stuff like that, like those big core features are what we're focused on right now. But my disclaimer for when closed alpha hits is that you're going to be missing a lot of other features that we're going to start rolling in as closed alpha progresses, which will be things like, your wallet UI, like the curated feed, community pages, what else? Bookmarks, shortcuts, which is like a new feature. So stuff like that is, and then a big one is going to be the Leo Infra integrations. Those won't be right at closed alpha. Obviously, since it's an alpha UI, we don't really need all the onboarding integrations right away. We're going to add those before the UI replaces the production UI. And we have some cool stuff planned for the onboarding experience to make it better. But yeah, that's the general breakdown of things. Like the core features are going to be there, but there's definitely some stuff that won't be there right when closed alpha hits, and that stuff's going to get rolled out. So, but the goal is right now to get like those big core features in place so that all of you guys can start using the UI and then helping us bug test. And then, we'll every week we'll roll in a new feature, and then you guys can try it, get it all polished, and then move it to production. And then once it's in production, a Nomad Soul has been working on some really cool ideas for marketing. So that's the plan for 2023. Roll out this UI in the next month, hopefully, and get you guys testing it right away, and then quickly move from closed alpha to production. I'm not going to like waste a lot of time in closed alpha. And they're really, like I said, there's not a lot of bug. It's like surprisingly bug free in a lot of ways. So, I have a feeling that closed alpha won't last very long. Open alpha won't last very long. It'll just be, a quick, start using the UI, get some kind of stress tests going, and then move us from open alpha to production right away. And then, start all that marketing stuff and get us to 5,000 monthly active users.
Good stuff. What were you saying with the when you hover over someone's username, it gives you like additional info? I forget. I just don't remember like any specific example you gave of like what it gives you.
So if you look at that screenshot, the last one I posted, on the right-hand side, it shows Taskmaster 4450 LE. It shows like you see his account, how many followers he has. You can follow, mute, and then you can see more posts by him.
Gotcha.
So if you hover over someone's profile on, like, let's say that you open a post, right? Like you open Taskmaster's post, you scroll down to the comments kind of like one of those screenshots I posted. And if you hover over one of their avatars of someone who commented, it'll change that right-hand side to show their profile rather than Taskmaster's. And then every time you
Gotcha.
hover over someone else, it changes it.
Cool. Didn't catch up. Caught up on the recap post. Real-time writing.
When you mute a user, does it mute both their posts and threads? I think there should be an individual option. That's a good question. Right now, it will mute both posts and thread. It'll basically just be like they don't exist on the UI to you. But maybe at some point we can add like
That's a
way to separate that out.
super interesting request.
Yeah, that's like a very meta. That's a very meta feature.
I'm just looking at it as in like, I mean, I maybe get it. Maybe someone has like, you enjoy that long form content, but you don't want to get pinged all the time with like their threads if they're, you know, doing 20 threads a day or something. So in that instance, I get it. Outside of that, it's like usually you either want to see someone's stuff or you don't, but that way would make sense. You know, like if I want to read tasks posts, but I don't want to get pinged every time he threads. Otherwise my notifications will just be going off like crazy. So I guess that's maybe an example of wanting to have one, not the other. And I suppose the other way around, although I don't know if there's as much value add. Speaking of threads, I'm trying to AMA, write a recap post, and thread all at the same time.
Multitasking.
Way too many taskings. Let me kick off a thread. Yes, join the AMA and share your wins. Indeed, Nifty, indeed. So
Multitask mastering. I like that.
go.
Will full text search be on the new UI? At some point. I don't think it'll be there. It'll definitely not be there for open alpha. It may or may not be there for when we move into production, but it will be at some point. We actually built a full text search engine on Leo Mobile. So at some point, we'll probably just take that code and refactor it for the web app. But yeah, that might take some time. So there's definitely some like bigger features out there that we got to tackle, and search is like super hard to master.
Yeah, I gotta catch up in the Discord chat here. Yeah, search is always a bit of a pain, functionality wise. I haven't been over onto the YouTube in a hot minute. I'm gonna go over there and see if there's anyone chattering.
Multitask master.
Apparently there are some people over in YouTube chattering. Interesting. Someone asked, I don't know if this was already asked, when the Leo dividends will be launched. I'm not sure if I know what Leo dividends means exactly.
I think they're talking about the ad program.
Ah,
The Leo ad program is, it always was slated to go live right after the new UI. So obviously, since the new UI has been taking longer than we wanted it to, the Leo ad program will follow that very closely. But yeah, the ad revenue is looking really good though. Like if you look at threads, if you look at the content and the engagement and the numbers behind threads of like unique accounts that are using it now, it keeps climbing, which is really cool. Really cool to see. So, we're seeing more and more people jump into threads and use it on a daily basis. We ran the numbers. I know Mad Soul and Dals ran the numbers, and the number of users using threads, I think, has tripled since the beginning of 2023. So in this first month, and the number of actual threads being posted has more than tripled in this first month of 2023. So, you love to see it. You love to see it. So threads, and threads being just a page on the current UI, I think it goes to show how much engagement we can build when threads are, the actual core of the UI, like when it's like the homepage and deeply integrated and native to the UI that it's built on. Like right now, what you guys are using is like a very crude format for threads. If you think about it, I think it looks great. I'm still proud of what we did with the UI that we have. And integrating it, like I think it looks great. It functions pretty well. But when you guys start using the new UI, you'll see how like arcane the technology is on the old UI. It's just like you can tell that it was kind of, it was like, I keep saying this, it was Frankenstein in, right? Like we had a UI and we've had that UI for a while. I think we started building that UI almost 2 years ago now. So we've had this UI for a long time. When the UI was built, there was a lot of, we added a lot of features to that UI that, weren't really intended to be there. Obviously, like threads, community pages, curated feeds, those things weren't originally designed for that UI. So, we almost, I guess the best way to put it is that we outgrew that UI in terms of features, in terms of number of users. So, it's a relatively reliable UI, but you definitely still see some downtime here and there. But we definitely just outgrew it. So what I think is really cool is like when you use this new UI, it's just super fast. Threads feel great. It feels like threads were meant to be there, whereas like on the old UI, it feels like threads were just kind of added in later, which is exactly how they were. Yeah, so I'm really, really happy with the new UI and just overall usability. And, occasionally we have downtime on LeoFinance.io. So like, it's not very frequent, but like, let's say, probably like maybe once or twice a week, there's like, 1 or 2 hours of downtime on LeoFinance. And that really, it's a multitude of things. Sometimes a Hive node crashes, sometimes the actual site crashes. We have to restart like the database, like the Lightning database and stuff like that. But the new UI, and this was the fun experiment for me. Every time the production UI goes down, I check the new UI and the new UI is still up. So that's a great thing. It shows that we fixed kind of like a lot of that spaghetti code that's present on the old UI because of how it was, like the nature of the way it was built. So yeah, new UI fixes everything. It's an amazing experience. And obviously from the screenshots, you can see it's a very different experience than the current LeoFinance. And I think it's a very different experience from really all of Hive. Like, I don't think there's anything on Hive that's like it. Obviously, I don't think there's, yeah. And I saw this really cool tweet thread. I'm probably going to write a post about it at some point today, about Discord and some of the things that Discord has been doing, adding features. And they've basically been adding like Reddit style features, like they added forums. And then they've also been adding like Substack style features. And if you take that in mind, and then also consider what, Elon Musk has talked about with his vision for Twitter, it seems like a lot of these platforms are moving towards this kind of like everything app type of build out, where they are aiming to basically clone the features of other platforms and, bring the best of those other platforms into their own platform and, utilize network effect that they've already built in order to take advantage of that. And we've talked about this a few times, but with the new UI, a lot of things I want to do are, very related to what these other platforms like Discord and Twitter are doing, where, we go out and we look at something like a Substack and we say, okay, Substack is enabling authors to charge a monthly fee to get basically premium articles on top of like the free content that they put out. And this has become like a huge business model. One thing I envision is that we add a Substack like feature, which I think is like really overdue for Hive. Like, if you really think about it, there's thousands of authors on Hive, and the only way that they've monetized themselves is through the rewards pool. And if you consider that Web2 has, millions and millions of content creators, they've all monetized themselves in ways that have nothing to do with a rewards pool. So it's almost like on Web3 on Hive, we have like this whole new mechanism for monetizing yourself. And it's like a really cool mechanism, but there's no one taking advantage of these like Web2 mechanisms where you can leverage them and monetize yourself, like Substack, again, with like the monthly author newsletters, monetizing yourself super easily with that. Other platforms allowing you to like take a cut of ad revenue. What are some other ones? Like sponsorship deals, all sorts of really interesting things, affiliate links, referrals, stuff like that. Like, I think a direction that we're going to be moving in, obviously this is all post like getting the UI out, start making our way towards the 5,000 monthly active users. But a big focus, I think, is going to be adding tooling for monetizing yourself as a creator on Hive and LeoFinance. So, I probably one of the first things we do is going to be like that Substack type of feature where you can set something up like a page on your profile where if people like what you what you write, like say like you're a fan of Taskmaster, for example, if people like what you do, then they can like hit a button and subscribe to your premium content. So Taskmaster puts out, his 2 articles, 3 articles a day of, free content. And then say, 1 article a day is like a premium newsletter that he puts out. And he charges $5 a month worth of Leo every month to read that premium newsletter. And then like, 2% of that burns, 2% of that Leo gets burnt, and the 98% goes to Taskmaster. And now Taskmaster has gone from being only rewarded from a rewards pool which is Web3, to now having that Web2 source of revenue from, a Substack type of newsletter. I think that's a really cool mechanism. And one of the kind of core tenets going forward for LeoFinance has been like, and really over 2022, we were trying to do a lot of this, is just automating things and making things more efficient, so that there's a lot less manual intervention, a lot less, basically load on the team and bottlenecking, especially with me, to do things. So with the new UI, a lot of stuff is going to be customizable, modular, adding in tooling so that users can decide what to do with all the tools that we put out. And, us as a team, we can just focus on putting out the tools and making those tools really customizable and really easy to use. And then it's up to the community to take those tools and turn them into whatever they want. which is what I think Web3 is about, which is the whole thesis behind opening up LeoFinance for like any type of content. Like I think as a brand, Leo, and I considered changing the name. I considered, Project Blank. I considered all this stuff. But I think what I kept coming back to was, it's better to have a niche brand where like LeoFinance is branded as like crypto and finance, and like the replacement for crypto Twitter, right? Or the competitor for crypto Twitter. And I think that's a cool thing. And I actually think it's beneficial to have like a more niche brand, because we're not going to just step up and say, hey, we're the new Twitter, we're going to compete with Twitter. There's 100 platforms out there right now that are trying to do that, like Rumble and all these other things, that are just stepping up to Web2 and saying, we are one for one competing with this platform. Instead, I think it's better to have like a brand and an identity. So we're specifically going after a certain type of audience. But with that being said, my whole thesis about Web3 is that we put out the tools and you guys decide what to do with them. So, we put out the platform, we put out the brand image of, crypto finance, crypto Twitter. But then if you want to post a picture of your dog on Threads, nobody's going to be policing you and saying that you can't do that. And if you create a whole community of people that, I think, is it Forex Broker that's doing that? If you create a whole little community around the hashtag dogs hashtag, then that's totally fine. You can do that, and you can upvote each other, and you can, build out your community. All we care about is building the tools and getting the engagement and, building up ad revenue. Ad revenue it doesn't care if you're talking about dogs or doesn't care if you're talking about crypto. It cares about engagement numbers. It cares about time on page, click-through rate, stuff like that. So, engagement is everything, basically.
Indeed it is. Did you see the comment about the threads counter? Cal made a run for it. It's over.
It's all over. It's all over.
Pull.
I did.
Pull.
More like curtain pull.
Right. That's interesting. Threads count on top of the page, and the task was like quantifying things is a great, motivator. People love gamification. This is true.
So you guys want to put a threads counter at the top of the page?
We need a threads count on top. I mean, it's interesting. Number of threads. I guess then you can do fun stuff like, who will be the millionth thread? And then that could be like become an NFT.
Yeah, let me think about how we would do that.
Interesting.
Here's a screenshot. You guys tell me where you think you would put it. I'll start thinking about it too. But we could put it somewhere. So you guys are talking about putting a total threads count, not like a daily count.
I'm assuming that's what he meant. But who knows? I don't know. I think you got to look at it this way. Which one will basically like garner the most attention and create the most engagement in regards to that, like, competition slash, competitiveness or whatever, and gamification. So, that, like, my thought off the top of my head was just talking about, all right, if he means a total counter, then, we can have these milestones, and you can have, themes of, who will be, the 1 millionth thread, or, whatever, or you can 100,000, 500,000, like milestone numbers, and turn those into NFTs or something.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Just for funsies, for engagement. I mean, monetarily, will it create anything? Maybe, maybe not. Will the NFTs be worth anything? Probably not, but it's more so about just the engagement. People like to play games.
True.
Put both, have a daily counter, and then below it a total. Put it under the last tag on the right. Yeah, that would work. I agree with that. Either you put it above maybe trending tags. But yeah, on the right probably works. On the right definitely works, I should say, but on the right beneath definitely works too, because there's plenty of, clean, empty space.
Put it under the last tag on the right. Yeah. Yeah, I'll think about how to do that. We're also going to add a stats page at some point, but I also, yeah, I think having like a little counter there, and then maybe when you click the counter, it'll take you to like a more detailed stats page, which shows you like top threaders of the day,
That is a
stuff
good
like that.
idea. Yes, turn it into essentially a hyperlink that takes you to
Yeah,
more information.
yeah, definitely. We can definitely do that. I will add it to my checklist.
That is interesting. But yeah, total counter, like I said, for me, it just makes sense because you can, use it for further, engagement activities and quote unquote, marketing to the community. So it's just yet another fun thing to
Absolutely.
do. And now I just got to figure out how I can be the 1 millionth thread and be
Yeah, I wonder if people will game that.
be forever internalized into LeoFinance. The 1 trillionth thread. There you go. Even better. I just want to be the millionth. Someone else can have the trillionth. That'd be crazy. Thinking about that. When we're at like 900 and like 80,000 threads or something, that next few days is just gonna be people just throwing up anything.
Yeah. Think about all those links that are going around and bringing people back into the LeoFinance UI from search engines and, Twitter and everything. And then, coincide that with all the Leo glossary links and we'll have something going.
Solely says, I want a Leo merch shop, please. There quasi is one. I uploaded some LeoFinance stuff to Bonfire. I haven't been on the site since because I created and bought my own swag. All right. So what's up with that?
Hey, you gotta make products for yourself. You always start
Right?
with an audience of one.
Saying you want to talk about like, taking initiative. So I gotta find the link. I can find the link because honestly, it's been like probably a year since I got all my swag. But I can find the link, and on there, literally, you can like the exact t-shirt I'm wearing, you can get. I have one in gray as well. You can get hoodie. I haven't tested it. Like I only got t-shirts, so I know like it came out good. It looks good, like the placement of everything. You can also get hoodies and whatnot. I just don't know. I can't guarantee that its size and placement of the logo is going to be spot on. But the t-shirts I know are good to go. So no need to make. I've already made them, so to speak, for me, but anyone can get them. But the only negative is fiat's money to purchase them. But yeah, in fact, let me go. I don't even know what email I was under on this thing, but let's see if I can find it. Getting to the site's easy. Remember my login? Not so much. Well, I have no idea what I use to log into this. But yeah, I'll find the link at some point before the call's over. If not, I'll just post it. But yeah, so it does exist.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of you are longtime Leos and will remember, but we built Leo Shop way back in the day. It was a peer-to-peer marketplace where you could sell both digital and physical products.
I put some digital products on there.
Yeah, it was a total pain in the ass.
I'm sure it
was a ton of work. I don't know. We did a few $100s in sales or something as a community, but it was a big undertaking. I think it was ahead of its time. I do think it was ahead of its time. Right. There was no market. There was no users. So I think going after something like a Leo shop would be a cool thing to build when we're at, circle back to it when we've got, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 monthly active users. And there's a lot more people floating around and, a lot more people to sell and a lot more people to buy. I definitely think that's something we could circle back to. And we still have all the code. Yeah, Taskmaster HBD was a joke at the time. Now it's actually viable. That is very true. At the time we were trying to create use cases for things that nobody used. So, yeah, it was ahead of its time though. It was the technology for Leo Shop was very cool. I actually that is probably one of my favorite little projects that we ever worked on. And like I said, it was a total pain in the ass, but it was very cool. Yeah, it was called SBD at the time. Yeah, it was
Oh
a long
God,
time ago. Just
indeed
goes
it
to show you
was.
how many experiments we've done as a community and a team, and it's cool. It's cool to think of. I haven't thought about that in a long time, but yeah, very cool. Um, that's the essence of LeoFinance, right? Is constant evolution. We're always trying new things, trying to make things work. And, sometimes we try things and they don't work. Sometimes we try things and they do work. I think Threads has been our biggest experiment and probably one of our most successful ones.
It is looking that way. All right,
Yeah,
what do we got?
engagement. If you look at things like time on site, engagement, number of unique accounts transacting, total transactions, stats like that, they are pushing all-time highs for LeoFinance right now in the middle of a bear market. So yeah, Threads, I would say Threads has been probably our most successful side project that is now not probably, but now is actually taking over like the whole thing, right? Like Threads is becoming the core of what we do. And it originally started as a side project and, just an idea called Project Blank. It's such a big idea that we didn't even have a name for it.
And it turned out you had the name all along.
Yeah, true. We had the name all along. It's so poetic.
It's like, it's like the Who. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. I know at least Task was with me on that one.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my God. I figured you'd at least know it from like the CSI TV show because they used it as the opening, that classic song from the Who,
I never watched that.
I can't. Task has got me. I know he does. I don't even have to look. Yes, quoting 70s rock. It happened. And it's true because that's exactly what happened. The new boss, same as the old boss, LeoFinance. LeoFinance is
5 years
Blank.
before my time.
All right. I finally found the login after 3 different email tries and reset passwords for the Swaggy. It literally is called LeoFinance Swag. So let me see if I can get to this store. See page. Oh yeah. You can get t-shirts, pullover hoodies. I even got women's tees. Where's Woo at? Long sleeve tees. So yeah, the premium tee is what I have. And that, like I said, looks fine.
Oof.
So it comes, the hoodie only comes in gray only.
Yes, Solomon wants you to post a thread with a link so we can all look.
I'm going to put it in the
I want to look and see if it's economical for me to buy like a big box of
probably not
t-shirts.
it's on demand printing, so they're not the cheapest t-shirts. Like I think they're like $25 t-shirts.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like a bulk or something.
And the hoodies are like 37, 38. Potentially. All right, hold on. Let me stop messing around here and put the links in the things. It's actually pretty simple. Bonfire.com/LeoFinance-swag. All right, so I'm going to put this in Discord first. And then I will do a thread. My third thread of the AMA. Look at me. That's like usually my quota for the week. Get yo LeoFinance swag. Boom. It has been threaded. Right on. All right, all right, all right. The swag is out. Swag EP. Yeah, I don't know if there's a discount for bulk. I only ordered 3 items when I did my thing, but does not look like it.
Yeah, Task, that would be cool. It would be very difficult to create that, but at some point I think that would be really cool to have some sort of dynamic system.
Oh, that'd be wild, yeah. Weighted ad revenue.
Get your LeoFinance swag. Let's see this.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really happy with the t-shirts. I almost want to see if I can go on here and like literally just order some black tees like with nothing on it. Although I wish they had V-necks because I wear a lot of like just black V-neck tees in terms of like regular everyday wear.
Yeah, they don't have any bulk discounts. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, I can't find anything. Even like I'm trying to see like even like since I created the page, so to speak, if like I'm able to order like in bulk, but like nope. Because even when I ordered mine, like I still had to pay retail. So
Damn.
that shooks. But anyway, it at least is now a viable option for anyone that wants to get themselves a piece of Leo swag. You can get yourself a shirt now.
Do some swag.
It may not be the cheapest option, but at least it is available.
True. True.
Now we just got to find someone that manually wants to accept Leos and put the orders in for people. It ain't gonna be
There's
me.
someone out there.
Where's the VA? Do they ship worldwide? That is a good question. I think they do. I'm sure there's probably an additional fee. Let me see. I'm going to go. I mean, I'm actually not going to look. What do we got? We've updated our base costs. Interesting. Learn more here. Well, let me see. We go into the good old AI chatbot and see what we can get. Shipping. Let's see what we get for international shipping. Shipping rates, shipping options. I'm going to go with shipping options.
Yeah, Task. You can post 10,000 times per day on Threads. It would use a lot of RCs, I would imagine. Obviously right now you would need to be in charge of your own RCs. At some point in the Sooniverse, we're going to have Leo Infra integrate a RC delegation system instead of delegating Hive power. And in theory, if we are able to have enough Hive, the dynamic system would basically allow you to do that. Obviously, we're going to have some sort of limitations and prevent abuse. But the new system for Leo Infra basically automatically reads accounts and it says, okay, you're using XYZ amount of RCs per day, so we're going to give you enough RCs to transact. It's going to be fully dynamic, where like it sees that you're running low as a LeoFinance user on RCs, so it'll give you more. And then if you say go inactive for like 3 months, it'll see that you're not using all those RCs, so it'll pull them back, and it will put it back into the pool. So it basically just creates a dynamic pool where, as a user of LeoFinance, you'll be able to draw from that pool automatically, without doing anything other than using the UI, how you use it. So yeah, in theory, if you were posting, like, let's say you posted 1,000 threads, as you keep posting, if your RCs keep getting depleted, the bot will read your account and it'll be like, okay, you're starting to run low on RCs. Let's give you some more. Yeah, that's how it'll work. Yeah, addicted. Yeah, we've got a ton of, I mean, we have a shit ton of RCs. So yeah, I've looked at his code for RC pools. There's a few issues that we have to work through for that. But yeah, it's an option. It's an option for sure. But there are definitely some things that need to be ironed out. Gerber is sharing a new merch site, but I guess you have to do 300 plus. That might work for me if I want to put like a box of 300 shirts in my trunk.
So yeah, if you want to do like bulk merch,
Yeah.
yeah, it may work for you.
Yeah. I've got to get that design. Maybe I'll put out a thread or something and ask for some designs on some new merch, QR codes and everything.
Trying to see if there's any way, because like they kind of set the pricing, but I'm trying to see if there's any way for me to like, if I have any discretion there and I can like make it cheaper. Doesn't look like they give you the option.
Yeah. Taskmaster definitely would be more profitable. We are building the everything app. We are building the everything app, and that is considered a part of everything. So you never know.
It's hilarious.
Sign up to LeoFinance, get a free 8-ball.
That'll get expensive real quick.
Yeah, it would. It could buy a lot of Leo. True, you could. It's an interesting business model. I think it could work. Power up 10,000 Hive, get a free t-shirt. You know, that's not a bad idea. Like maybe if I end up ordering like this huge bulk box of shirts and stuff, if you power up like a certain amount of Leo, I'll just send you I'll pay the shipping and send you a shirt.
I actually like
I think
that.
that would be cool.
Yeah,
That might be cool.
do X.
Very unscalable, but cool. Yeah, I still love that lion that we did for the Leo decks. It looks awesome. We talk about these crypto markets.
We can.
Bitcoin is at 23K. I'm so surprised that it's holding this. So like it's a pretty tight range too, like 23, what is it? 22.5 to 23.7, just kind of bouncing in like this $1,000
Well, I did a thread
range.
and a post yesterday about Bitcoin because, you know, it gave us this like little fucking tease. I have my charts. I got so many freaking tabs open between all the different places I was posting on Alchemist Nation before we jumped on the call, because I need to apparently be active on that as well. I have about 75 bonfire tabs open now.
It's funny.
Oh yeah, I forgot about YouTube. What do we got?
I remember life before mobile phones. I think I got my first phone when I was like 6 or 7 though. But it wasn't a smartphone. I'm old enough to remember that. I'd what did I have? I think it was like a Nokia or something. I had one of those like cheap, shitty flip phones. And it was
Good old
mostly
flip
because
phones.
yeah, Nokia. Yeah, I think it was a Nokia. But yeah, that was my first phone. And then I think I got the first iPhone when it came out a few years later. I don't remember how old I was, probably like 11 or something.
I don't even remember what my first phone was at this point. I just remember it was kind of a brick. It was like a silver brick. Um, and then I think after that I upgraded to the oh, what the hell is it called? I was trying to think of the name of it, but oh well. It was the Motorola and it had like, you
Oh,
know,
the Razor.
no, not the
Oh
Razor where you could slide it
no,
up
I
and you
know
had
what
the
it was
keyboard.
like the liquid or something with
Nah, it
like the
was called oh,
keyboard.
so I think wait, no, I think it was called the Sidekick.
Oh, that one.
It might have been. I don't know, but it was like basically like, you know, it was essentially the square, like kind of rectangle brick, but like you could slide it up and you had a keyboard
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
for texting. It made it like it was so much better. It was still a brick. It was still like a brick little phone,
Yeah,
but like it was basically, you know, because it was thicker and you could slide up the top half and reveal the keyboard.
yeah. I had a few different flip phones. I think one was definitely Nokia. I definitely had one where you flip the keyboard up. I thought that was super cool. There was one called like a liquid or something, something like that, and it had like some really cool keyboard design. Uh, but yeah, I don't remember what it was called.
And
But yeah, it
yeah,
didn't
I
take
do.
long for smartphones to come out after I got my
Yeah,
first flip phone.
I definitely remember rotary phones.
First phone was a pager.
I remember
I'm not
I had
old
a
enough to remember
pager.
pagers.
Oh my
Really?
God, you
Wow.
were cool if you had a pager. I had a pager. Like there was like this 3 year window of pagers being like the coolest thing ever. I had one in high school. I think it was like sophomore, junior year. Um, yeah, everyone had pagers, and you had to know all the different codes, what everything meant. And people, I remember going to a payphone and obviously paging like, you know, one of my buddies or whatever, like the few guys that already had cars or whatever. He'd be like the mall or something, trying to get to them, come like pick you up.
You were the shit if you had an alphanumeric pager.
He is not wrong.
I wish I could see the times of the pager. That'd be cool.
Yes, addicted 143. Yeah, it was a little fun. It had a novelty to it. It definitely, you know, I'll tell you what, it forced your mind to be more creative and more and have more ingenuity um than, you know, now with smartphones where you don't have to basically like anticipate or figure anything out. You know, you can basically just get what you need.
Right. Well, and what would you use your pager for? Someone would page you and then you would find like a payphone and then use the payphone to call them?
Yeah, things like that. Well, yeah, usually you page them from a payphone. I've done that before. You know, you would basically page them from a payphone with the payphone number, and then they call you.
Interesting.
Also, you know, we just you ended up there was the common known codes, but then like you would just come up with some like you had with your friends, so you knew what certain things meant. So I mean, if you want, I mean, I can tell you a fun story about essentially paging and whatnot. I got me and my I was at the mall with a bunch of friends, and we ended up getting like chased by like a gang or whatever it was. Um, so we all like bolted in different directions out of the mall, and me and my one buddy kind of went out like this backside entrance, and my uncle didn't live too far from the mall, so we ended up, um, you know, after we kind of like ran out of the mall parking lot and then kind of like into like the neighboring town, like in the neighborhood, we walked like 2 or 3 blocks or so to my uncle's place, and I paged my buddy, one of the guys that drove it, two guys that like had cars. I paged one of them from my uncle's with like that number and just sat there and waited. And then he called like a half hour later, and I was like, "Yo, you got to come get us. We're at my uncle's. It's, you know, XYZ Street, you know," and I'm trying to tell him like relative from where it is from the mall because there's no Google Maps, there's no anything.
Eh,
Um, but yeah, pager for the win. Yeah,
It's
that was
crazy.
interesting. That was an interesting time. Yeah, because it was like maybe like it was like six of us and two guys that drove. And the mall was like 2 or 3 towns over from where we lived. And yeah, we ended up having some quote unquote tough guys come after us. But they outnumbered us by quite a bit. So we decided the best course of action was to haul ass and get out of Dodge.
Scaredy cat pager.
There you go. There you go. So the Scaredy Cat logo on a pager, we'll bring it back. Bring the band's back together.
Yeah, the funny thing about, I feel like all of us being on Hive, LeoFinance, everything, is that we're all early adopters of whatever the newest thing is. So I bet a lot of people here were like very early to things like the pager, very early to mobile phones, very early to smartphones. Um, yeah, I mean, like even when I was growing up, but then especially when I was like, a teenager and in my early 20s, like any new thing that comes out, I have to try it. It doesn't matter what it is. So, like the like VR headsets, even though I think VR is kind of useless in its current form, I have to try it. When Apple was coming out with like the first iPad and stuff, had to try it.
Yeah.
That's faster.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
saw
funny.
that comment.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to try all the new things, all the new things.
It keeps your brain thinking.
Yeah, maybe, and yeah, I guess that's a good way to offset, as like I said, kind of the opportunity we've lost with all the technology. Um, I like honestly said, I'm very happy in the era that I grew up because I got my first cell phone at 18. And like I said, it was still a little bit of a brick. But I got to spend that first 18 years with all the old school technology, but yet I was still young enough to pick up the new technology pretty easy, as opposed to like feeling like a boomer. So
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many people think that way, that like they're happy with the generation they were born in. Like because I was thinking about that recently. Like I'm very happy with where I was born, because I feel like I was born early enough where I remember where technology wasn't everything. Like, people still, went outside and did shit, and not everybody was just on a computer or a phone or an iPad all the time,
yeah,
because that stuff wasn't out yet until I was like, probably, 11 or 12. So I remember that. But then I was still, 11 or 12 when like, iPads and iPhones were coming out. So I was still like really young, and I kind of, downloaded all the, like the kid curiosity knowledge of technology. So like, I pick up any piece of technology and it just kind of makes sense to me, which is like how kids are, I feel like, these days. Um, so yeah, but I wasn't born so early that I'm now like starting to kind of lose my touch with technology, where I kind of feel like, even like my parents are kind of like, you hand them an iPhone and you have to like teach them what to do.
yeah,
Or like, I bought them Apple Watches and I had to like teach them how to use an Apple Watch. And I was like, oh, you just use it like your iPhone. And they're like, oh, well, how do you do this? And I'm like, you just use it like your iPhone. But yeah, it's funny. Task said, I'd love to be born 30 years later. Society keeps advancing. There's a lot of stuff Cal sees that I'll be dead for. Maybe not. Maybe you freeze maybe a Walt Disney it.
or just live to 200.
Yeah.
I mean, with technology advancing, I mean, it's like my buddy, like Mike Shine's always like, I'm living to 150, and he's like not even questioning that or joking. Like he 100% believes he's living to 150.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll be at least 150, probably older.
I mean, if you think about it, like people living to 100 used to be like this big deal, and it's like not that much of a big deal anymore. Like there was a
Mhm.
lot of people that are clocking 100.
Yeah.
There you go. Hive brain
Just
download
upload
company.
yourself to the metaverse.
Exactly. You can live forever in the metaverse.
Yeah, there's a book called Ready Player One, which one of my favorite books. And in it, the guy who creates it's all about like virtual reality, kind of taking over society. And the guy who created the virtual reality dies basically at the beginning of the book, and creates like a contest that everyone can participate in to like get his billions and billions of dollars that he made by building all of this stuff. And in the end you kind of find out that he like basically created like a virtual reality version of himself uh in the simulation, like basically like it's basically like an NPC, but it like is him because it has all his memories and everything. So it's they did a movie on it, and I thought the movie was good. The book was also good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. I gotta check it out. I heard it
I
was
thought the movie
cool.
was pretty good. I mean, it's not like it's not going to win any Oscars, but it was a good movie.
You know, it would be a really good movie.
What?
A film that shows Bitcoin mooning to 100K.
I'd rather that be reality than a movie.
Wow. Yes, exactly. Look at that. Stock market's back up today after yesterday's red. Tesla back up after a little red. Man,
What's
I'll tell
going
you
on with
what,
these markets? I hear that a lot of people are de-risking for tomorrow, which is the FOMC.
that makes sense. I'll tell you one thing though. Wish I wouldn't have been selling short calls for income against my Tesla leap. I handcuffed my profit big time. That thing freaking mooned. I nutted that trade. I was so right. But whatever. The shares I bought are doing
The
very
hedge,
well.
you did the best that you could with the knowledge you had at the time.
Oh, I'm fine with it. I mean, that was the play. It's like, all right, I bought shares. I still want more exposure. You know, I expected it to bounce, but I mean, I didn't expect it to basically go from like 102 to 180 in the matter of like 3 weeks. Not even. Funny part is it's still on a downtrend. Like this thing can literally go up to like 250 or so, and it's still in the downtrend that it's been in since the all-time high. That's what's crazy about these bounces and how big that downtrend range is. Like that descending channel, it's freaking huge. And I was buying when it was basically at the bottom trend line, if not beneath, because it broke below it. Like that's when I knew it was oversold. I'm like, this thing just went next
Yeah.
level. Um, so maybe it was worth long exposure only with the leap option. That thing more than doubled in value. That leap.
It's crazy.
Unfortunately, I sold the 134s against it. So I own the 100 leap and I sold the 134, which is still a pretty nice spread, but things up at fucking, 175. It's crazy. When things move, they move with the tech stocks.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I was looking at buying some Tesla when it was down at like 110. Should have pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah, I bought at 133 was where I bought most of it. And then I bought some more down at like 120. And then I bought that leap when it was at 119. And that's only because I had to wait a freaking week for Schwab to clear my funds because it was at 105 when I was trying to buy the leap. And I was like, you mother lovers. So it cost me 15, 14 points waiting for them to basically just earn interest on my money. It's like the money's not in my bank account. You guys have it. Why do I have to wait 5 days for it to clear? Oh, so you can earn interest on my money. Yes, that's why.
That's banking for you.
Task is not wrong about making a wrong turn in Orlando and it costs you $2. Yeah, every time I go up to Orlando, I'm like, why do I feel like I'm back in New York? There is tolls everywhere on like every
Really?
road. And I don't know where
It's
I'm
crazy.
going. So I end up just like paying toll after toll.
That's how it is by me. Again,
That's not normal for Florida, though. It's getting worse, though. They keep adding more tolls and more quote unquote express lanes that you get charged for. The HOV lanes are going bye-bye because it's not about the environment, it's about money.
Yeah. You know, the few times I've been to Miami, I've noticed that you guys have like those express
Yes.
toll lanes, which I actually really, we don't have that. I really like that. I actually think they should make it more expensive. I was thinking about that. I wish they would put that everywhere and make it not extremely expensive, but very expensive so that most people wouldn't use it, you know? Then you just get anywhere really fast, especially around me. I have a lot of traffic that I deal with. So those express tollways would be really nice.
Yeah.
Because we just have tolls. Like we don't have like express lane tolls. Like I really like that idea. I think that's an awesome idea. Like if you technically, if you make more money, you have less time, like you value your time higher technically than people who make less money. So making an expensive express lane
I
would
mean,
allow people who have less time
it's
to
just
get places
promoting more of the
faster.
same problem though, like the divide, and like this country is going to be literally nothing but haves and have nots. And it's like hilarious because all the government wants to talk about is, oh, equality, which is a bunch of bullshit because they're just pushing that narrative to basically be like, all right, the majority of you, we want to be poor and reliant on us. So you have to keep voting for us. And then there's going to be, I don't even know what percent of people it's going to be, but the non-broke people, whatever that's going to be, let's say 20%, and then the rest is the 80. Like the middle class is getting crunched, and that's been, a rhetoric for 2+ decades now, and it's,
Yeah.
more and more.
Do you think that is just the nature of societies, or do you think that is something that it could be fixed?
I think it's a combination of both. I think a big piece of it is, our government and the agendas and rhetoric that's pushed. So think about it. You can't have control if you have empowered people. So, and that was like, I was posting, before we got on, I posted on Alchemist Nation about there's, right now there's a proposal, in Congress. The Biden administration is trying to push a national renters bill of rights. And I'm like, oh boy, what is this going to look like? And basically, they're taking away incentives for real estate investors, which is dumb because it's like, wouldn't you want to incentivize them more to create more supply
More
since
housing.
we're
Yeah.
about 4 million housing units short right now of, in terms of supply demand. And then also like, the stuff in terms of like protecting tenants and all that stuff, like I'm with that because unfortunately, most landlords aren't like me, well, I shouldn't say that. Actually, most are. The problem is you always have that smaller percentage that is the slumlords, and that's the only stuff that makes the
Right.
news, right? But, I'd say minimum 80% of landlords are actually really good people and actually taking it on the chin, because they're, basically doing the right thing and being good to their tenants. Because it's like anything else. You give them an inch, they take a mile. Like it happens all the time with me and my partner because we're too nice. And we just give, tenants way too much leash. But the rhetoric in the bill is kind of shitty because, yeah, it creates protections, but it also has just this vibe of like, you're entitled to a certain lifestyle just for like living in America. And, that's fine, except for it doesn't come with the other side of, basically doing the things that you need to do to be able to live that lifestyle. So it's like, here, you get this
Right.
lifestyle, but you don't have to do any of the things that you normally would need to do to live that life. It's like, no, like, so I think that's bad because we already, I think, have an issue with entitlement as it is in our society. So we'll see if it actually, ends up making its way. I don't see that it'll probably make its way through Congress and get approved. But you never know. And that's all I'm saying about that, because I'm not getting into politics because I have nothing good to say about current administrations or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
The reason I brought up the movie of Bitcoin going to 100K was because we were going to talk about crypto, and then we totally just went off into random topics that have nothing to do with investing or crypto.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, the mentality is very anti-rich, which is very stupid if you think about it. It's, it's the entrepreneurs that create all the jobs, right? Like it's ultimately it's the entrepreneurs that create, things like housing, supply and jobs for people and opportunities to, grow and make your life better. But the establishment likes to frame it as like rich people are bad, fuck Elon Musk, fuck Jeff Bezos, they're sucking the lifeblood out of society. When if you actually look at it, they're creating jobs, they're creating opportunities. They're also giving people, like hope that they could, build something in their own life. And yeah, I mean, I find it insane. Like, and I know that a lot of it comes from like my generation is like, it's almost like it's actually insane to listen to people like in my generation talk about like society, taxes, rich people, stuff like that. Like they all, like not they all, but like a lot of people around my age think that we should all get a monthly check from the government for a certain amount of money. Yeah, no, it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
This is why I give your generation shit.
Yeah, as you should. Like I have disassociated myself with my generation. I mean, I feel very old. So like I walk around and I don't feel like I'm a part of it, but it's crazy. Like when I talk to someone, in like their early 20s or, like mid 20s, like around my age, it's like they legitimately believe that the government should just give them $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. And
it's always like, and
that's
my next question is always like, all right, where does that money come from? And then they have zero answer.
Right. Well, now they've all kind of gotten a little bit literate. They're like just financially literate enough to have some terminology to throw at you. So now they're like, oh, well, they're just printing money to do all this other stuff. Why not just print some more for us? It's like,
because at some point that breaks.
Right. It can't go forever. Yeah. You can't write it with another wrong. It's like
exactly on the flip side. I mean, Walter has mentioned this a few times. He actually thinks that, UBI is going to actually be a necessity because he is a believer that, technology and robots and all that is essentially going to take over like 90% of the jobs. And he might not be wrong, but I think he's like way ahead of the curve. Like he's thinking that's going to happen like in our lifetime. And I'm like, dude, I don't think we're going to be alive for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could see that happening within the next like maybe 20 years. I would say 20 years would be like on the soon scale.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, like in the next 20 years.
Yeah, which I could definitely see happening. But the thing about that is right now we have a labor shortage and there's more automation than there's ever been, right? And as automation has progressed, we've seen more opportunities for different types of jobs open up, right? So there's like, rather than, people like manually digging a hole with shovels, now we have a bunch of machinery and tools that can automate it. And instead of, 10 people needing to dig a hole, you can have one person operating a big machine to do it, right? But that being said, like we've had that happening for what, 200 years? We've had, all sorts of machines and assembly lines and all these different technologies coming out that theoretically, make people lose jobs. But then, those jobs get lost and 100 other jobs get opened up from that. And now we're currently sitting in a labor shortage. So like, I definitely could see that someday, but I don't see that as a problem right now or in the immediate future. And I think that as more automation happens, you're just going to see new jobs open up. And, it kind of leads into another problem that we have right now, at least, and I don't know how it is around the world, but at least, near me, when you go to places like, you go to restaurants or, any sort of like retail store, anything like that right now, it's like the quality of service and the quality of, products. And obviously a lot of people are talking about like, what's the term for it? I'm blanking on the term for it, but basically like when you go to a restaurant and it's less like you're getting less portion for more money. Right? Like things are more expensive and they're also giving you less food. Size. Yeah. So like things are not doing well. Like after COVID, like, service is bad. And like,
Service is
I feel like if
terrible.
you're entering, like people are talking about how automation is going to take jobs away, but if you're like a skilled, even like go as low on the rung as you want to go, like at McDonald's, like, and as everyone knows, like my part-time job is at McDonald's, right? Like when you go to McDonald's, like the service that you used to get compared to the service now post COVID is a lot worse, like a lot worse. It's terrible. Um, like you'll order, like I go there a lot. I love McDonald's coffee. So I'll go there and I'll get like an iced coffee. And I get it with just cream. And I can't even tell you how many times in the last like couple months I've gone there and I order a coffee with cream and they just give me a black coffee. And it's like, did you even look at the order? Like the receipt will say it, but it's just like, I mean, I know that's like just a random example, but
Legendary.
yeah, just the point is that if you are any level of skill, like if you're even like basically competent, I feel like there's a lot of companies that could use people who are just even modestly competent, because there's a lot of labor in the workforce that is incompetent. And on top of that, you have like this labor shortage. Like I just, I get what Walter's saying, and I know that I kind of believe that too, that in the future, yeah, like you're probably gonna have some sort of UBI, and there is going to be an issue with labor, not labor shortage, but like labor unemployment is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
You definitely have unemployment issues at some point, but I don't see that anytime in the immediate future. I really don't.
I'm with you on that. I'm not worried. Like I said, I'm not worried
You kind of
about
like quiet quitting. Have you seen that trend?
yeah, the quiet quitting. Apparently now and then I saw something about quiet hiring. And I'm just like,
Oh my
I'm
God.
done. Everything just has to be some kind of freaking tagline and like,
Yeah.
and it's like whatever. So no,
It's
Addicted made a good point because talking about like UBI and it needs to be less centralized. Otherwise, it just gives the government totalitarian control, and they can demand people do whatever they say. And I'm like, well, I think that's what they're trying to do. Like, I think that's
right.
the goal.
For sure.
Like,
For sure.
so I love to see like a complete overhaul of our government structure, and I think it's going to happen one day. I don't know if I'll be alive for it, but listen, history repeats. There was a revolution once. Why will there not be a revolution again? At some point, people are going to get fed up enough with the two-party system. Just like the one thing I do believe I will see in my lifetime, I believe an independent will win president before I leave this earth. So we shall see if I'm
you know
right.
who just posted a tweet today asking if you would vote for him to be president is Mr. Beast.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Mr. Beast is?
No.
He is he's like that famous guy on YouTube who like, spend 100 hours on an island and win $1 million.
Oh, okay.
Extremely famous guy. And then he just recently opened was it a burger? Yeah, like a burger joint. And he's kind of like leading this charge of like influencers getting into like, taking all their influence and then just kind of jumping out into random industries. Like, I mean, an influencer opening a burger place.
Gotcha.
And yeah, he just posted this tweet. It got 2 million votes so far. Let's see here.
It's hilarious. Nope.
But yeah, like, I mean, I'm with you. Like, I think probably in the next, like, I would put some money on the next, maybe not the next president, but the president after that, within the next two presidents, I would see like an independent, like a influencer who has no political experience of any kind becoming president. I think so.
My dark horse bet is The Rock.
The Rock.
In like the 2030s area, like mid 2030s, because at that point he'll be like probably late 60s. It's like, all right, hanging up the action hero shoes. And plus, I've said this before, he's got that show Young Rock, and in that show the setting is basically every scene is him telling a story about like growing up and what made him the person he is, and why basically people should vote for him, because he's basically being interviewed during the presidential election for like 20, 30 something. And I was like, this dude is literally putting this in everyone's mind like 10 years ahead of time. I'm like, that is the most
Yeah.
baller move I've ever seen because millions of people watch the show.
Yeah.
And I don't even think the show is going to last. Like, I think it's in the second season. And it got moved. I think it might be on Fridays now or whatever, which means, it's probably going to not make another season. But either way, I'm like, you putting that in people's brains. So I could see potentially, if he wants to, I could see The Rock 10 to 15 years from now, potentially running for president.
Yeah.
And I would assume he would run as an independent, but I don't know.
Yeah, we need a large scale regime change. That's for sure.
Oh, 100%. I think it starts with somehow an independent, which is going to be tough because, both parties are going to be doing everything they can to take that person down.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think it's setting up perfectly because you had Trump that nobody really liked, right? And then you had Biden, which nobody really likes. So now you have a person from each party that shows how much that they can, basically fuck shit up. And it's just setting the stage for people to be like, you know what? Democrats suck. Republicans suck. Let's try something new.
Exactly.
Like, I really think it's kind of heading in that direction.
Yep. That's why I'm like pretty sure I'll see an independent at some time in my life.
Yeah. And younger people are obviously becoming, voting age. And, the younger you get, the more influenced you are by influencers over, you don't give a shit about someone's
100%.
political history and background and what they did for a living. And
a 16-year-old is going to listen to what The Rock says over what any politician says any day of the week, all the time.
Yep.
Which is cool, but also scary as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's plenty of influencers out there that they should not have that label. It's like, you're an influencer, but it's no good influence.
Yeah. You're like a negative influencer. Yeah. It's, which is why, schools need to be teaching people good judgment. So you can say, okay, well, I like The Rock. I think he's a good guy, but he said this, and this is stupid because I have the judgment to know that that's stupid.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you can't take everything as gospel. Like, so.
Right. Which a lot of people do.
Oh yeah. Anyway, the recap post is up and the link is in the chat. Scroll up a bit. And
vote the cat.
Yes, Addicted. It is all predictive programming. So what do you got here? That's awesome. So it's a picture from Captain America, and he's in New York City. In the background, there's a picture. There's a Corona ad. You see a Corona bottle. And then right over to the right, you see basically what looks like, a virus, whatever the word I'm looking for is, not avatar, but whatever, example of like, picture of a virus. That's hilarious. That is pretty funny. I mean, I'm giving it zero credibility, but it's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
That's too funny. Well,
sometimes you watch like certain movies and you're like, what movie? What am I thinking of? There were a few that I've seen where they talk about, I mean, there's plenty of like apocalypse types of movies, but they basically like the level of like correlation there is between some of these like movies from like, 5 years ago to like what happened during COVID is kind of crazy.
Well, here's the thing about movies that's like, I guess I don't want to say scares me, but like I definitely believe a lot in, what the mind believes it can achieve and, and a little bit in terms of just manifesting and blah, blah, blah. So, all these movies, like you slowly look at it, like I joke all the time. I'm like, Skynet is coming. Skynet, Matrix, something like that probably will eventually happen. Same thing. Even when you look at movies like, I Am Legend and Resident Evil, like I could see that shit happening at some point. You're gonna have some mad scientist, messing around, like cloning different species and shit, and something goes the wrong direction. And so like, whatever, or there's some crazy virus, right? Like, I Am Legends totally could happen.
Yeah. Or maybe you have a lab in Wuhan testing, diseases.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of people believe that, obviously COVID was some lab shit in China gone wrong.
Yep.
I think the Purge movies were not accidents. You might not be wrong on that. The Purge might
Yeah,
happen one
I
day.
mean that's a good one. The Purge movies, and then you look at all the riots during COVID. I mean, it was that was the Purge.
It's wild.
Nuclear fusion going wrong is the next big thing. I don't know. I've done very light research on it, nuclear energy, and the technology's gotten pretty good. I'm actually pro nuclear energy.
So am I.
Yeah.
If it's done right, it's the most efficient energy.
Yeah.
Steam streams is correct.
We get our
Simpsons-
energy from the sun, right?
Yeah. Simpsons got some kind of
nuclear right
spooky
there.
black magic. They do. The Simpsons have been spot on with a lot of stuff. I mean, they pretty much predicted Trump was going to be president. It's crazy that show's still on because honestly, at this point, I don't actually know a single person that watches it.
I've actually never watched it before.
I mean, I was never really into it. I watched a little bit of it, but like, when I was in my 20s, it was huge. Everyone watched it. But I don't know. Anyway, we've been on a
Sweet.
while. People have been dropping off. Recap post is up. Probably a good time to wrap.
Sounds good. Yep. Covered a lot of random topics today, but it was a good one.
We did. We got good updates on the Leo universe, and then we talked about all the things.
All of the things. Next week is going to be February. What is it going to be? The 7th? February 7th. We will
Crazy.
see you guys there.
Indeed. All right, y'all. May your posts be
Peace.
informative and your payouts be bountiful.
I like it.
All the Leos.
All the Leos.
Such posts,
Sweet.
much Leo. All right. Later,
All
guys.
right. See you next week.